Hello, fellow cookiers and creators of cookie stencils in Cricut Design Space. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to take this SVG of the rainbow and eggs he has risen design and separate out the colors for a two-part cookie stencil. I'm choosing to make a third part and have the words on a separate cookie. You could leave it in there if you want, and I'll touch on that as we go through. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I want to point out here, as you can see, we're going to go through this, but I closed in all of these holes in this purple rainbow. You can see that over here on the right, that it's a solid rainbow, because I'm going to make these so that I can cut them out in plastic, and those designs would all be lost. They're going to cut out, but so is this rainbow shape, and so they're all going to be lost. That detail will not be seen in the cookie stencil. So rather than have my machine take the time to cut out all of those, I'm just going to take a minute and fill them all in. All right. Let's see, get rid of all of this and we'll start fresh. So I will link this in the description, the SVG, so that you can download that if you want to make this design. First thing I'm going to do is bring in, on the left-hand side, bring in a shape. I'm going to bring in a square because this will be the square material that I will cut out my graphics 0.007 to make my cookie stencil on. And I'm going to make that 5.5 inches wide in height. That's what my stencils will be to fit into my stencil holder well. And it's a good size around all my cookies. The next thing I will do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the he is risen part so that I can have that for a separate design, and then I'm going to get rid of it on the original. If you want to keep it with all of your purple for a cookie, then don't delete this piece right here that I'm about to do. All right, and then you can see, because this was on the canvas first, it slips in behind. I'm just going to right click on that and say move forward and size this for my cookie, which will be probably, let's see, 3.5 cookies. So I'm going to go 3.25 inches wide. And then I'm drawing my box around these. As long as you touch on both designs, you can grab them both and hit the align button up at the top and center. You don't have to grab each individual piece over in the layers panel. Now I'm going to group them together so that when I move them, they do not move independently at all. Even if I click on and click off back and forth, it still moves as one unit. This is super important because you do not want these pieces to move. You want them to line up on your cookies when you go to put both colors on the cookies. Now we're going to duplicate this so that we have two of the exact same thing to work with. And in one of them, I'm going to grab all of the purple pieces in the right-hand side in the layers panel. So this is going to be a pretty quick, just glide through there and find anything that's purple and get rid of it. Purple and a couple pieces of the rainbow. Let's delete those up at the top right. And we'll do the opposite for the other one. Get rid of all of the pink pieces. Sometimes you can use the contour tool, but as you could see, it is down here in the bottom right, it is not lit up. So this was not created in such a way that the contour tool is an option. No, I don't want that one. Let's see, let's click on this one again. Get all my pinks. I don't like that it's jumping around. It didn't used to do that. I wish it would just stay. All right, I'm going to see if I got them all. I'm going to go ahead and delete. And I still need to get the heart. Heart. There it is. Delete. All right. So now I mentioned all these tiny holes in this rainbow that I'm going to fill in. I'm going to zoom in so that we can see those better to work with them. All right. On the left-hand toolbar, we're going to get a circle and then size that down so that, let me make this a little bit bigger, so that it fits over the hole. You want it to completely cover that circle, but you want it to not go outside the lines of your rainbow. Where'd I go? There it is. All right. And once I got the first one the right size, I'm just duplicating a bunch of circles so that I don't have to bring one in every time and resize it. And just cover up all of these holes. If you were making this in silkscreen, you could leave all of the holes and then that design piece would come through. But again, since this is for plastic and it would really mess with the design visual to try to break all of those holes, we're going to just go ahead and cover them all. Bring this one a little tiny bit more up. Okay. I'm just going to go through and cover all these up real quick, and then we're going to put them all together as one unit with the rainbow. Just have a few more. So as you can see, I mean, this takes a minute to do this, but I'm also thinking about the time that I'm not sitting there waiting on my machine to cut all of them out when they aren't going to end up a piece of the design element. All right, let's start with the bottom here and grab all of these circles. It's going to go up through the layers panel, getting all of the black dots. And then also I want to grab the piece of the rainbow that has the holes in it, which is this wider piece here, the top one, and hit the weld button. Then zoom back out so you can see that filled in all of those holes. And if you were to put icing on your cookie or airbrush with the pink one, it's going to fit in with the purple one. So the next thing we're going to do is attach. And then now that as an attachment is going to cut all of these pieces out. I'm going to do this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let me unattach that, because so that my design will be smaller in size, taking up less space, they load faster, I'm going to go ahead and take all of these pieces and weld them together except for the square. So now those pieces, that pink design is all one piece instead of a bunch of little ones. And I'm going to do the same thing with the purple stuff. I'm going to weld everything except the square. You don't want to grab your square. Weld all of that. What's left? Just make sure I got everything. So I have my weld result of my 2 purple pieces of the rainbow and all of the circles or eggs and the cross. I'm going to draw my box through those and attach. So now, undo button, don't move that. Draw my box around there and reattach that. Forgot I had unattached it. It's really important that things stay where they are so that they line up on your cookie when you go to decorate. So now this is one piece, this is one piece. My file will be smaller, it should load faster. And then we're going to work on the heat is risen. And this only needs one bridge. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller so it fits on the page. There we go. The only thing that needs a bridge is this is the only closed inside the R. is the only space that is not open to the rest of the outside. Like you can see, this is not closed in the H. The S isn't connected anywhere, so it's open. So we just need to do this R. In the left-hand panel again, we're going to grab a shape. This time I'm going to grab a square and unlock the corner of it, and then I'm going to make it skinny so that I can cut this piece of the R open. I'm going to zoom in here again real tight so we can see, make sure that it lines up well. And I'm going to duplicate that for the other piece of the R down here. And one more, because I know I'm going to need to clean that up because of the angle. All right, I'm going to click on the one at the top of the R here. And the He is risen. Oh, let's see. I think He is risen is a bunch of words, is it? Bunch of letters, yes. So we're going to need to, you see how the slice is not lit up? That's because you can only slice through two objects, and this is considered however many letters that is. So I'm going to click on this and weld this, and you'll see it'll just be one layer now. Now it's one layer in the panel instead of one layer for every letter. So grab this and the straight up and down, square, and slice. And then you can see that took that piece out and that opened that. Now technically you only need one opening because now this outside plastic will be attached to the inside plastic, but I will usually do a couple on that. Let's see, bring this one down here, and I want to move the risen backwards. So I right-clicked and clicked on Move to Back. And this is because of the angle again, it's not going to be a perfect cut. I want to keep the width the same, so I'm unlocking the corner, but rather than using this arrow tool here, I'm going to go up to the top and change the height to make it shorter. I'm going to make it 0.3. And then I'm going to just move it a little bit. There we go. Actually, I'm going to use this other one. Let's see. I'm going to make this go up and down. So I think I actually changed the opposite since it was turned. Height. 0.3. Oops. Undo. You need to unlock the corner because I want the width to be the same as the opening that I made at the top of the bar. So 0.3. And let's bring that down there. Move the risen to back. Right click, move backward. There we go. And let's see if that'll fit over that. Yes, perfect. And I'm going to duplicate that because I think I will need to clean up a tiny bit because of the angle. And draw my box around there. And on the bottom right hand corner again, the slice button. And I'm going to, over in the layers panel, just click on these extra pieces to get rid of them. Delete. And you can see there that it's not a perfect cut. That probably in all reality won't show up on your cookie in the end. But I'm going to go ahead and do one more cut to clean that up a little tiny bit. Right click, move to back. I want to be able to see this on there. Now I'm going to unlock that corner because I'm not concerned about the width now. Since I've already made my cut, I just want to clean up this corner a little bit. And draw my box around that and slice. There we go. That's cleaner. So let's zoom back out. Get rid of these pieces. Just drew a box around them and hit the delete button. And Whatever size your cookie will be, you'll need to size that appropriately. We'll bring in a shape, a square. I'll turn that white up here and make it 5.5 inches up at the top toolbar there. I'm going to right click on that and move it to the back so that it can slide behind this. And if your cookie is, actually, you know what, let's do this. Just for fun. You could leave it like this. You could size it in, if you're putting on a cookie stick or whatever the width is, if you have a rectangle, you could do that. And all you would need to do, I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to duplicate those. All you would need to do is size this appropriately for your cookie. So let's just pretend it needs to be 3 inches wide. Draw a box around both, align, center, and attach. On this other one, I'm actually going to put resin below it. So I'm going to bring in another square and I'm going to put it over the word resin. Draw my square box around there and slice. So now it took resin off on its own. And I can draw a box around the two of those, go up to the top to align, and say center horizontally. That's going to line them up centered horizontally. And now I can grab both of them and weld them back together. So let's say I want to do it that way on my cookie. And again, size appropriately based on the cookie size that you're working with. And draw a box around both of those, align, center, and over in your layers panel, attach. So then let's see, where's that original image? So with this SVG, we made a two-part with the purple and pink for the rainbow, and two different options for He Is Risen that are bridged. All of this can be cut out on plastic. If you have any questions, feel free to place them in the comments. Thank you.